The show's called Tales from the Dorkside because we are fans. Well, you're maybe becoming a fan?
I am becoming a fan.
Of course, you've only seen 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Tales from the Darkside.
Those are my top 4.
Yeah. Well, technically...
Best of.
Technically, we've seen 5 episodes, but when they...
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned this before. On IMDb, they list the first one as a pilot.
Yeah.
Which still should count.
It does.
As of episode 1, but they don't count it as episode 1.
That's weird.
So technically, we call it episode 5 on IMDb. It's episode 4. But the one that we just watched is called The Odds. And this one came out in 1984. And it's about a guy who plays a bookie.
Yep.
Who never turns away from a bet, really.
Yep.
And the guy playing the bookie is... That's one of the things that we've talked about was we've seen people, they like to grab character actors or like even actor, like Christian Slater shows up in one and other people that you would recognize show up. But Danny, I don't know how to say his last name really great, but it's probably Aiello.
Danny Aiello.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's Spanish, so I don't know if you give it the yo or the low, but we said it both ways, so we covered our bases.
That's right.
He actually passed away a few years ago, in 2019. But he's been in tons of things. And if you saw him, which I'll pop up a picture of him actually, but if you saw him in this, then you've seen him in something. He was in Do the Right Thing. He was in Moonstruck, Jacob's Ladder. I mean, just tons of stuff. If I go down the list, I'll be reading it off forever. You see that list? And that's just movies. Like he's been in tons of TV shows.
That's a very round career.
Yeah. So in this one, we're just going to give you the recap so that later after this show, when we post the unedited watch along, you can check out us watching it for the first time. Gog. I think I've seen most of the episodes, but it might have been since the 80s since I've seen them. So we give our comments as we watch it. And you know, ideally you want to watch it too, or else you're just going to be hearing us and then some dead air and then us.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people I know are just watching it just because our commentary is funny. But, you know, maybe we'll figure out a way to fill in some of the dead airs on the future ones. Because like I say, we're just 4 or 5 episodes into our watch-alongs and we'll have more to come.
Yep. We'll get better at it.
Yeah. But in this one, his old partner kind of comes back who was believed to be dead and makes him a bet that he won't be alive by like 8 a.m. the next day. So they make this bet. And like, to me, I honestly thought that this so far has been one of the kind of slowest and not like as exciting episodes.
Yeah, because they're just sitting there in the bar, like in the booth at the bar.
But let me read some of these to you real quick. These some of these reviews that people left of the episode, and I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact of who the actor was because he's recognizable, honestly. But Danny plays busy bookie Tommy Vale, who's visited by a brash young gambler named Bill Lacey, played by Tom Noonan. Lacey has an uncanny knack for winning bets that are real long shots, and soon he's made a morbid prediction. But see, they leave out the fact that that guy is a ghost, basically, I think. I'm pretty sure. But the prediction was that Tommy will die by 8 a.m. And so they give like a little recap here. But let me see. Let me jump down to, it says that they are good as longtime friends and they get a good chemistry going with Noonan, who's strikingly dressed in a white suit. The odds is hardly slow paced, which I was like, it was really slow paced.
And it's like, man, really?
Yeah. It's simply a good little story that doesn't get any action set pieces that it doesn't need or unnecessary embellishment. It's largely about the acting, although the big twist near the end is a lot of fun, and it's one that the viewers may not see coming. Wrong again. I don't know if we said it in our show like while we were doing it, but I'm pretty sure we were like, we know what's coming here. Yeah. It's worth watching for fans of the series. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Here's another one that's shorter little review. They gave this one 10 out of 10. They said it's a great show, but there are certainly a lot of duds. This episode, however, is hands down the best one from the first season. People have called it slow, which I find a little silly considering the whole episode is barely 20 minutes long. Okay, it does. Just because it's 20 minutes can be a long 20 minutes if it's not.
Yeah, an hour can be a very long hour of turkey.
Yeah, like when I was teaching broadcasting at the broadcasting school, people would often really miscalculate how long a minute can be.
Oh, sure.
So I'd be like, yeah, well, write your news story but it has to be exactly at a minute. And like they'd be coming up at like 40, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's harder than you think unless you're doing a podcast where you can just talk off your, out of your ass.
Yep. That's what I like about writing for topicals and stuff at my job is we have software that tells you an estimate, and it's usually pretty close.
Yeah.
About how long your script is. So that makes things handy.
So yeah, like just kind of keep going down. Generally,
is there any like super negative reviews?
Here's a 4 out of 10. Let's see. They're giving a little recap of the episode. We'll skip that part out. This one is set in the same location throughout. It looks okay, but gets repetitive. It's well made, but forgettable. There's no horror or scares in this one, which is true. As it relies totally on its twist ending, which is where it falls down, which I kind of agreed to. The acting is all right, and Danny Aiello is the first big-name guest star to appear in the series. It's a dull sort of story. Its build-up isn't anything special. The twist isn't anything special, and neither is the episode as a whole. Not a classic, in my opinion. And this might not be a great ad for you wanting to watch the upcoming watch-along. But
we add to it. That's
we
thing.
try.
We add an extra layer.
Yeah, so a lot of them were 7 and 8s, and then a couple were 4s, and the 4s are basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
The whole episode.
Like, it's not bad, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
So that's where I kind of stand on it too. The twist was all right, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't want to read everybody's recap again, but was the guy that have visited him to make the bet, was he a ghost or was he real?
I don't remember. I felt like he was kind of like death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
character of death, not like the concept of death.
Because it was giving me a little bit of like some Jacob Marley vibes, I guess.
Yeah. He reminded me a lot of a character off of Sandman. I don't know if you watched the Sandman series on Netflix.
I didn't. I watched one episode.
Pretty sweet. But there's a character that kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So, it was an okay episode, but I feel like we got better episodes coming.
Yeah.
But definitely check out our unedited watch along so that we can.
Unrated. Unedited.
Yeah.
Too hot for TV.
Yeah. And that's just easier to edit. So by not editing it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the Tales from the Darkside recap for this week.
Recap.